Seeing her father's lover walk into the room, the daughter was just about to undress to serve. Hearing the gunshot, the mother hurried out to check. After dealing with his wife and daughter, she headed straight to the son's bedroom. The son was very happy to see his father, but what he didn't expect was that in the family of 4 on the road to the afterlife, 3 were now gone, leaving only himself. The father, without hesitation, aimed the gun at his own chin. The reason he did this was because he had an illicit affair with his own daughter, which was seen by his daughter's classmate John. The next day, John exposed this outrageous act and publicly humiliated his daughter at school. The father, with his prominent status, felt disgraced after the scandal was revealed and couldn't face living anymore. So he used a gun to deal with his wife and children. Then he also ended his own life. But he never imagined that his son Xiaoqiang would miraculously survive. Years passed in the blink of an eye. Xiaoqiang, who inherited his father's estate, had already grown up and had figured out why his father had ended the family. He blamed it all on John. On him, he swore to make him pay blood for blood. Meanwhile, John met a beautiful woman in the rain. But just as he was about to chat her up, he was directly captured. When John woke up, he found himself in a room, stripped completely naked, with nothing left. Without knowing anything, he searched the whole room but only found a set of pajamas and sleep pants, as well as a set of toiletries with a toothbrush that had a short handle. This made John feel as if he was celebrating in advance. So he went to the door, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't open it. Upon closer inspection, he realized the door was made of iron. Hello? Anybody hear me on the outside? He shouted loudly at the doorbell, but no matter how much he shouted, no one responded. After calming down, John suddenly realized he was imprisoned. From then on, he never saw anyone, and even when food was delivered, it was just through a small opening. John took the chance to stick his head out and begged the other person to let him out, but unexpectedly, a bomb was released. Let himself go. But this did not gain any sympathy, and only one meal was delivered each day. Every meal consisted of cornmeal dumplings, along with a bottle of 60-degree strong spirits, and every day it was the same. John directly threw up, threw things around like crazy, but no matter how much he vented, there was no response. On the verge of collapse, he could only use erguotu to numb himself. Unable to bear it, John could only endure. Fortunately, there was a TV in the room to pass the time. Strangely, unknown liquid was intermittently sprayed in the room. With gas. After inhaling, John fell unconscious. Then someone would remove his hair. The mysterious liquid in the bag, his fingerprints would be imprinted on the iron rod, and his saliva would be collected with a swab. When John woke up and turned on the TV, he was even more despairing. His wife had been sexually assaulted and beaten to death, an unexpected outcome. Unexpectedly, after collecting evidence, the police concluded that he was the murderer, leaving his 3-year-old daughter without anyone to care for her, and she was sent to an orphanage. Seeing this, John immediately turned off the television. He couldn't continue to face this heartbreaking scene. A scene. The pain felt at this moment is like the heart being torn apart. Every moment here is torture, but life must go on. Gradually, John began to have hallucinations, always seeing someone on the bed mocking him. But when he walked up, the person on the bed was nowhere to be seen. So he started searching around the room until he discovered a little white mouse, which he considered his best friend. He spent every day and night with it, eating, drinking, relieving themselves, and sleeping. Man and mouse were inseparable. After a few years of this, they even had a love child. John also told the mouse not to leave him, but the next day when he woke up, the mother mouse and the baby mouse were gone. At this moment, the day's food was delivered early. John opened it and saw, perhaps this was the last straw that broke his emotions. John started banging against the wall non-stop, but he ultimately thought of the glass. He picked up a shard of glass and fiercely slashed at his wrist, intending to end his life. But when he woke up again, his beard had been shaved off and his wrist was bandaged. To prevent him from slashing his wrist again, the mirror on the wall was replaced with wallpaper and a note was stuck on it. The most outrageous thing was that a surveillance camera was installed in the corner of the ceiling, leaving John with absolutely no privacy around the clock. Time passed quickly. 10 years went by, and John went from a young guy to a middle-aged man. The television played an analysis of his case by the host, followed by an interview with the adoptive parents of his daughter. Only then did John learn that his daughter really liked playing the cello. Upon seeing his daughter, John immediately smiled, thinking about her growing up safely and happily while playing the violin so well. John couldn't help but applaud. His daughter's appearance rekindled his hope to live. He began to exercise his body and quit drinking, pouring the alcohol down the toilet. From then on, he wrote letters to his daughter every day, continually working on improving his physical condition, and learning boxing techniques and extreme Wudang martial arts from the television. He didn't stay idle for the rest of the time, not for a single moment. Kept using a pen to erase the water traces in the wall cracks. Just like that, several more years passed, with several presidential terms having changed. His escape project gradually neared completion. Finally finished, he successfully drilled through the bathroom wall, kicked open the external vent, and could finally see the light of day again. But he suddenly remembered the letters he wrote to his daughter were still inside, so he went back to get them. At this moment, the television was showing images of his daughter's house being demolished. Seeing that his daughter has become a famous violinist, John unconsciously sat on the bed, completely ignoring the unidentified gas being sprayed out, just to insist on watching his daughter's program. But as expected, he was knocked out again. A few days later, he was put into a suitcase and thrown into the sea. In the wilderness, John, who hadn't seen the light of day for 20 years, was blinded by the sunlight and had his beard shaved off. The letter written to his daughter was placed by his side, and his pockets were thoughtfully stuffed with a lot of cash. However, an even more twisted plot was just beginning, which would cause her even more pain.